Hi guys, my name's Eric. I'm with Have a Knife Will Travel. We're all stuck at home, so I figured we would do a little cooking together. Sunday we have a live showing at 5 and we're going to cook lentils, but as any good chef would tell you, you have to be prepared, so let's prepare. So to start off, we're going to do a medium chop on an onion. Very easy. Cut off the bottom, cut it in half, cut off the top, off the top. All right, so to cut the onion, just want a flat surface for safety, and so we can get a consistent cut. So we just peel the onion. There's many different ways of doing it. If anybody tells you that that's the only way of doing it, that they don't know what they're talking about. So this is how I do it. Cut it that way, and then cut onion. And then we'll do the other one, same. When you're cutting an onion and then you're trying to keep it in place, I usually do this at the last point so it doesn't move. But it's okay if you don't. Cut onion. So, very simple. Take off the top, take off the bottom. I like to start with the thinnest part up top so that you can actually see what your knife is doing. And then you very simply just peel it. Remember to go like that at the beginning, angle it in, and then you just follow that last part. And just replicate the curve of the beat. You always miss something on the top, so just clean that off. Peel the beet.
All right, next up we're going to learn how to cut a beet. First off, we should create a level surface so we can cut safely. I'm going to turn it on the side and do a basic rough julienne. For the length of the beet, discard the sides, and you're not going to use because they're going to be difficult to get them all the same size, and that is our target, so they all cook evenly. And then we'll julienne them one more time, lengthwise, and then rotate at 90 degrees, and then chop.
All right, next up we are going to toast some spices. In the pan is coriander and cumin. You can do this with any sort of seed. It actuates the flavor. For instance, I don't like pepper, so if you like pepper, you could do the same process, but the actual important part is toasting the seed before you grind it to actuate the flavor. So just make sure you move it around so it doesn't burn. Once you can stand over the pan and smell it, let it cool down, grind it. That's it.
So once it's cooled off, we grind it up, and this is what you're looking for. Now we're going to soak our lentils, about 3/4 of the bag. Fill it up with about 3 times as water, let it sit for about 1 hour, then strain them out and dry them off with a paper towel.
All right, next up we're going to break down a whole chicken. If you bought a whole chicken this time, this is a good learning part for you to know how easy it is to break down a chicken. If you got a thigh, you don't have to worry about this part, and if you're doing fish, you don't have to worry about this part, but it's always good to know. So, chicken's on its back, breast side up. We're going to feel for the breastbone, which is right down the middle, and take our knife right down the center. Your knife will veer off to the left or the right, depending on where the knife is. Just let it do it. Butchering whole animals actually is very intuitive. The knife lets you do most of the talking for you. With poultry, we have what's called a wishbone. Wishbone, you'll feel it when you're cutting away the meat. Once you get to the wishbone, you just break it off. Comes out pretty easily most of the time, except for now. And then break it off. There we go. And then we can continue taking the breast off. And basically all you do is just take little shortcuts against the bone. And the meat will actually naturally kind of fall off. It's an extremely hard thing to mess up if you just follow that procedure. All right. And then we're going to do the other side real quick, using that same technique. Okay, and then we get to the somewhat tricky part. If you look very closely, we have a joint on both sides. This joint is going to the wing. So we just put our knife right there, cut through cartilage, through the cartilage. There we go. And then the whole breast is actually disconnected from the body. So come from behind and just follow that little line on the leg. And then we have a breast. So let's just do this other side. Again, you just follow the line. Two breasts. Next up, it's thighs. This first time is a little bit strange to do for your first time, but if you hold it like this, you can feel the joints, and you just put your thumb in there and press. That's it. And you can see the joint actually came undone right there. And then press the knife as much against the chicken as you can. Bring it apart. Again here. And then we have a broken down chicken. The breast is actually an airline cut right now. So we have the little leg and the wing. So I usually just cut that right there. This is the most, people refer to this as the most tender part of the chicken. So it's like a nice little bonus. All right, so then we have the chicken all done up, and with the onions that we used and cut up, like the ends, we can put the chicken carcass and the onions and the neck, always the neck, and if you're not a big fan of wings, also the wings, into a pot with 8 cups of water, and just low and slow, just let it go all day. Don't rush stock until it's reduced down until about 4 cups. And then if you're not doing chicken and you're doing fish, then basically you can skip this whole part because you don't have to break down the fish. That's it.
Now let's marinate the chicken. We just butchered. We have our cumin and salt, and I just typically dust the chicken parts with the spice blend and salt. Don't really have to worry about measuring out any amount with this marinade because all the excess will fall off. So let's dust our chicken. Salty, salty. Spicy, spicy. And like I said, I mean, all the excess will fall off, so go as heavy as you want. All right, now that everything's done, we're going to stab it. And why are we stabbing the chicken? Because it will create holes for the marinade to actually seep into the chicken so that it's not just a surface level marinade. Breasts are much easier to stab than thighs. Alright, so then we're going to do the oil and vinegar part. The oil is more of it homogenizes the entire mixture so that it's all equal parts. So don't really have to measure it too much, just make sure that you're mostly covering the chicken. And then the same thing with the vinegar. I would go at least a 1 to 4, so, or rather 4 to 1. So a quarter of the much vinegar. The vinegar is going to break down the proteins in the chicken and allow the marinade to seep in even more. Now we're just going to mix. And then we're going to let that sit in the refrigerator covered for a day at least, but 2 would be much better.
All right, guys, we are all set for Sunday. Well, mostly prepped up, so I hope you learned a few things. Sunday, 5 Instagram Live, we'll be putting all of this together. Have a beer and a wine ready, and looking forward to doing this.